name is Patrick and I'm from Proceed Innovative, and in today's video we're going to be talking about how to make an SEO friendly website. And the goal with this video is just to give you the high level, so this is obviously not a 3-hour video and there's a lot that goes into an SEO friendly website, to give you those high level things to look out for if you're managing a business, to know that your website is either SEO friendly or not. And then if you're starting a business, just to know what parts are the most important so you can get your business off on the right foot. Let's start off with the most important question. Why is this important? The internet's a large place and search engines help it make it a little bit more accessible, usable, findable. And if your website is SEO friendly, it means that even if you're a new business or a business that's been around for a while, people can find you for the services that you do and reach out to you and give you a call. So it's just a great way of generating new leads, interest, visibility in your website, is being SEO friendly. And if you haven't seen our video on what SEO is, SEO stands for search engine optimization. It's optimizing your website to be search engine focused. So essentially translating what you do into a way search engines can understand. More in our SEO friendly, in our SEO in-depth video. So talking a little bit about the parts. So there are a couple parts and we'll go through them. Again, a high level, there's a breadth of information, of detailed information out there. Let's start off with the fundamentals. So fundamentals, you're gonna need a couple of things for your website to be SEO friendly. Well, you need a website, right? So you need a URL, and you need a clear URL. So if you already have a company, keep that unless you're doing it very carefully. So don't just go out and switch your URL. But if you're a new company or opening a new business unit that needs its own website, a clear URL goes a long way. Do you do moves in Chicago for offices? Well, Chicago office movers. Do you create signage? Well, put signage in the URL like Divine Signs. So clear URL, number one. Second one, hosting. Do not skimp on hosting. Make sure your hosting is good. Make sure your hosting is consistent. I can't tell you the amount of websites that are out there on terrible hosting and they load slow and they're not willing to invest the extra. In this day and age, $50, $100 a month. This isn't a big amount for a company to have a strong hosting provider. And also with the strong hosting provider, if anything happens, they'll have your website backed up. We back up all of our clients' websites. So if anything goes wrong, you could just go right back into being live instead of the alternative of, we've seen this situation more than once, somebody doesn't pay for consistent hosting and then they end up having the website go down and you have to start from scratch. It's a terrible situation. So for fundamentals, you want the URL and you want hosting. Next, you want your website, when it's live, when it's ready, to be crawlable. So what does crawlable mean? Crawlable. These are so Google doesn't have a team of people looking up every new website and adding it to Google's system. They have a whole bunch of code that goes out there and scrapes the internet and collects what they think is important, what's usable. And you can actually help engage that. We'll talk a little bit more later on in the video on how you can encourage Google to come out and find your website with some of their tools. But Google does this naturally. They collect information across the internet. And this comes from your website being crawlable. So it's having the specific code in there that helps it be found online. A quick way to check this is Google yourself. If you see your website, then it means it's crawlable. It means you're live, you're on Google. If you don't see it, the first thing to check is in the code. If you don't see it, give us a call or reach out to your own provider. But there is a snippet of code that it's unfortunate if it's there, because if it's there, it tells Google you cannot crawl my website. That code is no index. And you could put this on any page and this essentially takes it off the internet. Google can't find it. Only people that know your URL can access it, essentially like a Harry Potter invisibility cloak. No index is the reason why you're not finding your own website. Next. So the next part is the part that we're going to go through pretty quick, but it's the part that has probably the most amount of time being spent in it. And that is the information architecture and optimization. So now that you have all of your content out there, it isn't enough in this day and age to just put out text, put a photo on there, without understanding how it's going to be utilized by search engines and the people coming into your website. So what this means is having the elements of SEO, the way I like to describe it with the businesses we work with, is they are the reputable brand that knows what they're doing. and they hire us to be their translator for search engines and making sure their website is running properly and people can understand what they're looking at. Because, I mean, generally Google is a pretty lazy machine in terms of if they don't see the things they're looking for and somebody else is providing those things, when they crawl a website, they're going to rank that website ahead of you because they see the things that they're looking for in the information architecture and their optimization that they look for on every page. So things like having alt tags for your images and other SEO elements helps your website be SEO friendly. Again, there's a ton of tools out there. I would encourage you, if you're looking at the specifics of this information architecture optimization piece, we'll even make another video talking about this because it gets very detailed, and a lot of the times companies outsource it to businesses like us because it's a whole industry within itself. Okay, next, this one is easy to understand, and you're probably watching this on a mobile device. Mobile friendliness. Yes, say it with me, mobile friendliness. If your website isn't mobile friendly, it doesn't matter how good of a website you have, it's not going to get found. More and more in our reporting, in our clients' analytics, we're seeing that people are more comfortable making buying decisions on their phones. This makes sense. For anybody watching this video, you've probably bought something from Amazon, you've probably bought something from a t-shirt company or a technology company, but now we're seeing that shift into the B2B space. So people are making their buying decision for large multi-thousand-dollar a month services based on the mobile friendliness of a website and being able to find a website on a mobile device. That also includes iPads. iPads are closer to a mobile device than a desktop, so keep that in mind when you're optimizing for mobile friendliness. I cannot emphasize this enough, how important this is in this day and age, being mobile friendly. And last one is usability. It's easy to say, difficult to do. People struggle with where to start. Where I would recommend starting is take your phone, find your website, and hand it to somebody around the age of 12 to 15 and have them tear it apart. Because anybody in the younger generation is going to give you the exact issues with your website that you might not even notice or be comfortable with. Say, hey, you know what? I know our menu doesn't work right away and you need to click it twice to get to it. But somebody younger can see right through that. And I mean, your clients are going to feel the same frustration. So those are some of the things you really want to be careful of is usability. And this is, again, the last step in make sure everything else is, it's fundamentally strong. The hosting is good. It's crawlable. The information is optimized. It's mobile friendly, but usability, bringing it all together, your navigation makes sense. Your pages are linked. God forbid, if you have a broken link on your homepage, it's going to destroy the customer experience. It's going to ruin your reputation with search engines. So a lot goes into being having a website that's SEO friendly. Now, these are just some of the high level things to keep track of. What are some tools? So we can't be everywhere all at once. You can't keep track of every single page on your website, but thankfully Google knows that. And they offer you some great resources. So we'll start off with one of my first ones, my favorite ones. It's called PageSpeed Insights. And PageSpeed Insights, just Google PageSpeed Insights. It's a tool Google provides. You could put in any URL, so not just yours, your competitors. You could put in your friend's family's business. And you could see how quick it loads, what are the issues with it. And Google makes it pretty transparent about here are the things you need to fix in order to improve your visibility, your accessibility, your optimization. The second one you need, and this one you actually need to install on your website because it gives you the behind the scenes view, is Google Analytics, GA4. And Google Analytics 4, again, whole different video explaining what GA4 is. In a nutshell, it gives you the behind the scenes view of what happens on your website when somebody comes in, when somebody leaves, how engaged are they. Even if you don't utilize it right away, we always encourage businesses, put that snippet of code in. That's all it is, a little snippet of code, and it starts tracking and collecting data. So even in a year from now, when you're working with a business like ours, or find the time over a weekend to go through and look through your analytics, you have that historical view. If you don't add that snippet of code today, whenever you start trying to look for the data, it's not going to be there. You're going to be annoyed. You're going to be kicking yourself. Don't procrastinate. Add that snippet of code in and set up your Google Analytics account. Again, if you have any questions, Proceed Innovative, we're here to assist. Last one, this one's becoming more and more usable. Now with all of the indexing questions and Google's really changing the way they're approaching their algorithm, it's Google Search Console. Google Search Console is, I like to kind of picture it as the sidekick. It used to be the Robin to the Batman that was Google Analytics. Now it's kind of like double Batman's. This gives you the behind the scenes, the really technical pieces of what's going on with your website. And the cool thing here, I mentioned it earlier, if your website's not being crawled, Google Search Console is the place where when you have a new website or new pages or something's been changed, you can actually interact with Google's crawlability and say, hey, these pages are new. Can you index them? Can you go in? How long is a page taking to load on average for my users? It's an incredible tool that agencies like ours use to take websites up to the next level. So overall, a lot of different things going on in the SEO friendliness of a website. Just keeping it all together could be overwhelming. Now, there's always the option to work with a company like ours, or going after it yourself and making sure your fundamentals are clear, your crawlability, your optimization, your mobile friendliness, and your accessibility all make sense. And Google's tools, the analytics, the Google Search Console, and the PageSpeed Insights are all there to help you out. Thank you for watching.